any event, let's get into the scuttlebutt of the day here, and we're going to talk about this cockamamie hate crime crap. First of all, what in the hell is a goddamned hate crime? Seriously, think about that. Remember that guy that drove, he took that black guy, it was a bunch of hillbillies or whatever, and they tied that black guy up to the back of their pickup truck and drove him around until he was, half dismembered and died, obviously. And that's when the hate crime started to come out. Well, first of all, what difference, I hate to quote that cockamamie Hillary Clinton, but really, what difference does it frickin' make? Does it matter whether you killed the guy out of love or hate? You drove him around in the back of your pickup truck until he was dismembered. Doesn't matter why you did it. Who gives a damn? The fact is that you did it. We already have things on the books. It's called murder. We don't need hate crime. Well, we really love Johnny and all, and we're sorry that he got dragged behind the back of a pickup truck until he was dismembered. But thank God for that hate crimes bill. I feel a lot better about his death now. Doesn't serve anybody any purpose. Certainly doesn't. It doesn't serve the victim's family any good. Doesn't serve the victim any good. He's dead. Certainly doesn't serve anything. I mean, what more can you do to these people that did this? Well, depending on what state you're in, you get life in prison without parole, or you get the death penalty. So why do you need a hate crime bill? Well, I'll tell you. It's to target people, your voice. That's right, freedom of speech. This hate crimes crap, this is all about freedom of speech. So if you say something that somebody gets upset with and is so insensitive they get offended, well, they can use this hate crimes bill against you and throw you in jail because you exercise your freedom of speech. That's the only reason why this stupid hate crimes crap is even in our society today. It's nothing more to target political foes, period. It's to target you, and it's to target me. Maybe we need to start doing the same stuff to them. Again, listen to a liberal talk. You listen to a liberal. You want to talk about hate, the vile things that they have said about Republicans and conservatives and Tea Party. My Lord, you talk about hate. We need to start charging them with hate crimes. You got to be careful in this world of what you ask for, because there's people out there that will give it to you. We need to start giving it to them. Start shoving this right up their ass. Yeah, oh, you want a hate crimes bill? Okay, good. We're going to prosecute you for hate crimes. Oh, but no, that's not supposed to go against me. That's supposed to go against the conservatives, the Koch brothers. Not me. No, you little creep. Well, here's a new bill now. This is coming from two Democrats. Ed Markey from Massachusetts and Hakeem Jeffries from New York. These are a couple of knuckleheads. I mean, this is nonsense. I'm going to read this to you so you know what the hell I'm talking about. A report is required. Report on the role of telecommunications in hate crimes. This is the new part of hate crimes, telecommunications. And I know there's a lot of people that listen to this radio program that have their own radio program. Well, guess what? You're their target. I'm their target. Anybody who goes on Facebook and posts a picture of Obama and it's got a caption that says something, if it makes the king look bad, if it makes fun of him, if it makes you send a post out there that makes the little queen, Nancy Pelosi, if it makes her look bad, if it makes any Democrat look bad, well, guess what? That's a hate crime. You are a threat to society. A threat to society. And speaking of threat to society, we've got another story. We're going to get into that too. Absolutely pathetic. It all goes in with Common Core, which I've got another, my very first guest, my very first show. I spoke to her again yesterday. She was in the city. She wants to come back on. She's working on something with Common Core. She fights Common Core all the time. She's a big Common Core warrior, and good for her. Well, she's working on a project right now, and she wants to come on the show here. Oh, I don't know, probably next week or the week after. Exactly what's going on, I really don't know, but I told her, I said, look, as soon as you've got something on Common Core that you need to get out to the American people, by all means, you can call me up. I'm not going to turn you away. So we'll find out what she's working on with that. Now, getting back to this new hate crimes bill on telecommunications, a report is required not later than 1 year after the date of enactment of the Hate Crime Reporting Act of 2014. This is what the Nazis did. That's right, Mr. Bill O'Reilly. Nazism is alive and well in the United States. You, being a history teacher, you should have known this. You're the most obtuse individual on television, Mr. O'Reilly. Why you are on television, I don't know. And that's another reason why people were out there yesterday. They're sick of the nonsense. We're sick and tired of people who claim that they're conservative, but they're not. Conservative is simple. It's very simple. Conservatism is very, very simple. Conservatism is nothing more than simply following the Constitution. That's it. Allowing a free market. I know people hate the free market because, well, I don't know why. They make money off the free market. Look how much money Nancy Pelosi and her fat frickin' husband have made off the free market. Look how much money John Boehner has made off the free market. Look how much money Harry Reid, Barack Obama. They all can make money, but you can't. See, that's the deal. You're not supposed to make money. You're not supposed to prosper. They are. You're their little slave. That's right, slave. We don't sugarcoat anything on this program, and I flat refuse to sugarcoat anything. I'm sick and tired of that crap, too. This milquetoast sugarcoat crap. Well, let's have a civil conversation. What do you ever get out of a goddamn civil conversation? Well, you get another civil conversation, and the problems still continue. I'm sorry, but don't be afraid to turn up the heat. You have to turn up the heat. Sometimes you do have to fight fire with fire. And it's okay to get hot. Human beings cannot get anything done until they get angry. Why? I don't know. Again, I didn't invent the stupid human being. I just know how the bastards work. But it's time to turn up the heat, and it's time to get hot. But not later than 1 year after the date of the enactment of the Hate Crime Reporting Act. Getting back to the Nazis, that's what they wanted to do. They wanted citizens to report on other citizens. That's what this government wants you to do. They want you to report on people like me, who's not afraid to criticize. Well, I'm not going to stop criticizing, period. And neither should you, neither should anybody. We don't report. We don't turn in our own citizens for criticizing our government. Again, not only does the Constitution give us that right, but that's more, it's deeper than just a right. It's a responsibility. It's a duty. It's an obligation. It's okay to question authority. It's the only way to keep them honest. They question you, so why can't you question them? If we are not allowed to question authority, they can run roughshod on us all day long, every day, like they're doing now. We're not allowed to criticize the king. How can the BLM then go down and start shooting cows and attacking pregnant women and sending dogs on people and tasering them? How can they do that if the American people are going to criticize them? How can they kidnap your children and throw them into a psych ward? Lock lock their children up in a room by themselves with no medical attention. They give them the drugs that they want to give, not the drugs that are helping them. Shock treatment, they still do shock treatment, believe it or not. Shock therapy is alive and well in the United States. Imagine that. Well, shock therapy doesn't work. It doesn't work. You don't believe me? All right. Lay down on this table here. Let me shock you. See if it fixes you. Then you tell me whether it works or not. The NTIA. Unfrickin' believable. NTIA. The National Telecommunications and Information Administration. That scares the living hell out of me, and it should scare the living hell out of you as well. National Telecommunications and Information Administration. We have far too many government agencies in this country, and they all have excessive power. Now we've got a report the EPA is part there's a branch of the EPA that's with Homeland Security. Homeland Security with the EPA? For God's sakes, how? Why? Well, maybe if we get to it today, we might find out. The assistance of the Department of Justice. So now you have, this is all connected. The NTIA with the assistance of the Department of Justice. Well, if we had a Department of Justice, the Commission, and the United States Commission on Civil Rights, all of these people shall submit a report to the Committee on Energy and Commerce. Why would you need to report to Energy and Commerce? And to the Committee on the Judiciary of the House of Representatives and Committee on Commerce. Why is this connected? How are these all connected and why they're connected? Science and Transportation and the Committee on the Judiciary of the Senate on the role of telecommunications in hate crimes in accordance with subsection B. So it seems like God and everybody is going to get this report that you posted a picture of Obama and you had a little caption on there that made fun of him. So the Energy and Commerce Committee, they've got to get a report of this. The Science Committee, the Transportation Committees, Commerce Committee, Energy Committee, the Senate, the House of Representatives, the Department of Justice needs to know your little tweets and your little Facebook posts. They need that information. Why? Well, so they can persecute you later. They find out you didn't vote for a Democrat, well, they can take care of you. They'll learn you. My God. I mean, the United States of America is going to be, there's going to be one small little section of the governing class and the rest of the country is going to be one giant goddamn prison. What the hell's the matter with this country? Is this how you want to live? Well, I don't want to live this way, so yeah. You do have the right to stand up. You do have the right to get angry. We're not going to win this war until we do get angry. And nobody wants to get angry until it happens to them. And then, by then, it's too frickin' late. So it's time to get angry. And this isn't just a United States problem. This stuff is going on worldwide. Let that be known. There's two spheres in this planet here right now. We've got the freedom-loving people and we've got the tyranny people. Well, when this war happens, it's not going to be just an American Civil War. It's going to be a very huge world civil war. This is what I'm trying to avoid. That's why I talk about this stuff. So people can become aware and go, wait a minute, do I really want to go down that road? No. Okay, let me back up. Let me reverse course. But they're not. They're full speed ahead. Well, this is what's going to happen. I'm trying to warn you that it's going to happen and to stop while you're still semi ahead. Maybe we can start fixing things. But no, people don't want to take that. People don't want to take that advice. They're going to lose their tyranny. They're going to lose their power. They may not make as many millions. They can't have control over you. That's right. You can't have control over me. I'm the only one who can have control over me. Here is what they call the scope of the report. This is what they want to have these agencies report. Analyze information on the use of telecommunications, including the internet, broadcast television and radio, cable television, public access television, commercial mobile services, and other electronic media, to advocate and encourage violent acts and the commission of crimes of hate, as described in the Hate Crime Statistics Act. Hate Crime Statistics Act. Congress, can you find something constructive to do, please? If you can't find anything constructive to do, here's what you do. Do nothing. Go to lunch. Cable access? Well, I've done cable access back home. I'm sure a lot of people have done cable access. But cable access is freedom of speech. You have the right to say whatever the hell you want to say. Do whatever the hell it is you want to do. That's the purpose of it. Why people are so afraid of that First Amendment, it just boggles my mind. Why would somebody be afraid of freedom? Well, I don't have the answer, but I do have a theory, and I think it's because people don't want to be held responsible. For what? I don't know. I can't figure it out. I'm still trying to figure this out. Radio, cable television, public access, the internet. And now we're going to give the keys to Putin so he can control the internet? Well, the very moment that Putin gets the keys to the internet, I guarantee you this show's shut down. And there's probably going to be a lot of other shows that are shut down as well. Mamma Mia, no Sharia? Oh. You're done. You understand? You're done. How dare you? How dare you criticize Sharia law? That's the new law. And it's coming to America. It's coming worldwide. Tyranny is coming worldwide, and it's coming to a home near you. It's coming to your home. So yeah, we not only have every right to get angry, but we have an obligation, not only to ourselves, but to our country as a whole, to our brothers and our sisters. We have a right, an obligation, a responsibility, not only to our country, but the world, to humanity, to rise up and get angry. It is time to turn up the heat. It is time to get angry. We must defend ourselves. We do have the right to speak our mind freely. We must preserve that right to speak our mind freely without persecution. We have to listen to liberals talk, so why can't they listen to us? Number 2, include any recommendations consistent with the First Amendment of the Constitution of the United States. Excuse me? You just violated the First Amendment of the United States Constitution. What the hell are you talking about? How the hell can this possibly be consistent with the First Amendment of the Constitution of the United States? It can't. I mean, this doesn't even make any sense. You restrict anybody's speech. You are violating the Constitution of the United States. How the hell is this consistent with the Constitution? Have these people ever read the document? Obviously they haven't. Include any recommendations consistent with the First Amendment of the Constitution of the United States that the NTIA determines. So it's up to them to determine. I guess it's up to them now. They're the only ones who know what the Constitution says. You don't. What do you know? You're not a lawyer. You don't have a piece of paper with your name on it. You didn't win an election. You weren't appointed by the king. What the hell do you know? You're a peasant. You're a hater. Go to jail. NTIA determines are appropriate and necessary to address the use of telecommunications described in paragraph 1. Update the previous report submitted under their section blah, 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 blah. So now we've got a government agency who's now determining, it's up to them to determine what is constitutional and what is not, even though the Constitution tells you plain and simple what is constitutional and what is not. The National Telecommunications and Information Administration. I mean, what the hell? Do we really need that? Do we really need a government agency? The NTIA, do we really need that? Does that really progress anything in this country, or does it degress? Well, when you stifle freedom of speech, that's digression. I mean, that's just me. Maybe I read the dictionary wrong this morning. I don't know. But if you go backwards, that's digression. You go forwards, that's progression. Now, again, I could be wrong. I could be wrong. But I don't think so. Now what they want to do. This one scares me. I read this the other day. I was going to get into it yesterday, but Raquel called up and, well, the show just went another direction. That's fine. We covered some good ground. That's the point. As long as we're covering good ground, what difference does it make? There's so many grounds to cover, and we've got to cover them all. And I was speaking with a candidate yesterday on this as well. He was running for comptroller. And we had a long conversation about this as well. I had a lot of good interviews yesterday. There were a lot of good people out there yesterday. I scared the living hell out of Tucker Carlson. I didn't mean to, Tucker. I know you're not listening, but it was an accident. So relax. Don't get yourself all sideways over it. But you'll be all right. Matter of fact, somebody interviewed me as well. I didn't expect it. I chew tobacco, so I had a big wad of chewing tobacco in my mouth. And of course, you know me. I fly off the handle because I'm a big fat hater. And I'm angry. And I'm mean. Well, not my fault. He asked me a question, and I'm spitting and sputtering, tobacco's flying out of my mouth. I look like a goddamn fool. But at least I got my point across. But now they want to home assemblies now. This is what they want. They don't want people like you and me getting together and bad-mouthing the king. They don't want that. They don't want home assemblies. They don't want people to gather. Well, that, again, happened in the 18th century. Home gatherings were outlawed. Yeah, that's right. Meetings were outlawed. That's right. Read a history book. Oh, that's right. They don't teach history in school anymore. That's racist. It's racist to teach the Revolutionary War and the events leading up to the Revolutionary War. It's racist. Because the colonists, well, they were traitors. Yeah, that's right. Traitors. They were the bad guys. So they couldn't organize and they couldn't have meetings together. Well, they did anyway, and they were underground. That's how we got the Revolutionary War, because we weren't afraid to conduct meetings. We just had to do it in secret. Well, this is what they're trying to avoid. They're trying to avoid people getting together. Good God Almighty. There goes my left-handed tongue again. Gemini Christmas. All right, let's get a shot of grog in here. The proposed zoning ordinance. Don't you just love that? Zoning ordinance. Don't you love that word, zone? Free speech zones. Imagine that. When did we ever think? When did you ever think? I know I never thought of it. But did you ever think that there would be such thing as called a free speech zone? And out of that zone, you're not allowed to speak freely? Well, let me give you the free speech zone. Free speech zone is at the top of the highest mountain down to the lowest valley, east, west, north, and south of the United States. If you are on United States soil, you have the right to speak your mind freely. You don't have to like what people say. You can hate it. You can hate it all day long. You can criticize it. But you have to love the fact and respect the fact that they have the right to say it without persecution. But people don't. They get offended. Oh, you said something. I'm offended. I'm offended. Well, just your mere existence on Earth, liberals, is offensive to me. But I'm not out killing you because I believe in freedom. I don't have to like you. I can hate your stinking guts. I can hate everything about you. I can hate the way you look. I can hate your stupid shoes. I can hate everything that comes out of that filthy sewer of yours. I can hate your hairstyle. I can hate anything I want to about you. But I cannot stop you or persecute you for being you. The proposed zoning ordinance limits group assembly at residence to 49 people a day. Well, I've been to a lot of christening parties, graduation parties, birthday parties, just plain old barbecues that had more than 49 people. I guess I'm a lawbreaker now. Such gatherings shall not occur more frequently, now get this, 3 times in any 40-day period. How'd they come up with these numbers? I mean, good God. County officials say they have received complaints about group meetings at homes. Really? They have? This is in Fairfax, Virginia, by the way. I forgot to premise that. What the hell happened to Virginia? What the hell's going on in Virginia? I mean, some of these states you never would think that this would be happening. Texas, Virginia. We got a story here on North Carolina. Wait till we find out what happened in North Carolina. You want to talk about stifling free speech. I mean, come on. You're the South, man. You're the last stronghold we have. We've lost the East. We've lost the West. We've still got some in the North. The Midwest, it's a toss-up. Florida, God only frickin' knows what's up with that frickin' state. You never know what they're going to do next. And speaking of Florida, we've got a story on that jackass, what's his name, Charlie Crist. I mean, good God. Can this guy go away? Could he take the Clintons and go somewhere, anywhere, the moon, Mars, frickin' Pluto? County officials say in Fairfax, Virginia, they have received complaints about group meetings. Really? Yeah, it's those conservatives getting together. Yeah, they're talking about the king. Gotta put an end to that. Harity said, I guess I don't know who the hell he is. I don't know why this article didn't put that in there and premise who the hell this guy is or woman, but it's not in here. They haven't even reached 1% of the thousands of complaints our Department of Code Compliance investigates a year, meaning there are no real complaints. This is bogus. This is yet another instance where we appear to be punishing the many for the actions of the few. Why would you need to punish people anyway? People have the right to assemble and get together. Can't do that anymore? Can't get together anymore? Why? What are you afraid of? Huh? Well, I think they're afraid of a revolution. And rightly so. They should be afraid of a revolution. They should be. I'm sorry, but it's coming. I just see it. It's right out there in the open. Again, this is simple, basic human psychology. It's right out there in the open. You keep pushing people, eventually they're going to rise up and start pushing back. So liberals, you need to stop pushing. I'm warning you. I'm trying to help you. I'm not encouraging war. I'm not advocating war. I'm trying to stop you liberals from creating and starting a war. And it will be on your hands. You will start this war, liberals. You're going to start the war, and we're going to finish it. But we don't need to go to that direction. We don't need to go to war. You want to be a little tyrant? Be a tyrant on yourself. Take care of yourself. You don't need to worry about me. I'm an adult. I can take care of myself. And if I can't, well, then I got no one to blame but me. And that's my problem, not your problem. My problems are not your problems. Your problems are not my problem. Church groups, scouting organizations, or even sports fans. You know, when I was I worked in the car lot. And we worked hard all day long. Again, it was, 14 hours a day at least. And we played hard. We worked all day, and we drank all night, and then worked all day, and drank all night. We did other things, too, which I'm not going to go into that. Those days are over. I don't go down that road anymore. It's not an easy way to live. You have fun, but it can do great damage to your body. So I don't recommend it. Church groups. Well, we all know church groups. We can't have church groups. Unless, of course, you're a Muslim. Then you can have church groups. Got to get that Sharia law in. Speaking of Sharia law, how about Florida? I know we touched on it yesterday. Well, I got that story in here today. If we get to it, we get to it. And I checked it out yesterday. I wanted to find out if it was true or not. And it appears it is. The Florida Democrats, every single Florida Democrat, voted for Sharia law in Florida. So that means you women, well, you can't drive. You can't show any skin. Don't show your hands or your feet, especially those long, silky legs. You can't show them anymore. You're not allowed to go out in public with a man that is not your designated husband. You can't pick your husband. Islam, women are not allowed to pick their husband. Their husband is picked for them. They don't have choices. And that I do know for a fact here in the United States. And I befriended a Muslim family when I first moved into New York. Well, I became good friends with the girl. Well, she was to marry who her father picked for her. And the man was several years older than her. She didn't have a choice. Imagine that. You're not allowed to fall in love with somebody unless your parents pick them. And then you must fall in love. How do you fall in love with somebody you don't even know? You say, okay, here's your spouse. Now you must fall in love with them. How do you do that? I mean, how do you do that? How do you do that? I don't know. I fall in love with people that I fall in love with, not with somebody who tells me to fall in love with. You're going to tell me to do something, more often than not, I'm going to reject it just simply because you told me to do it. It's not up to you to tell me what the hell to do. It's up to me to tell me what the hell I'm going to do. But you can't make any decisions on your own anymore. That's hateful. You're a racist if you make your own decisions. You're a hater. You're a creep. You're a criminal. How dare you make your own decisions? What kind of heathen are you, bastard? So now, as sports fans, getting back to what I was talking about, when I worked in the car lot, well, a lot of times me and a friend of mine, we shared a house. We didn't have hardly any furniture. We worked all day long anyway, so it really didn't matter. We didn't spend that much time at home. But we had enough room in the house, and we did have a TV. And we did have cable. We had a lot of sporting events. And I had a barbecue. We had a backyard. So we would have barbecues. We would have the entire dealership over there. Well, we had well over 100 people a lot of times. Sometimes 3-4 times a week. It just seemed to be the party pad. And people would crash there. And we made sure that people crashed there so they wouldn't crash on the street being drunk and run over a family of frickin' 6. But now we can't do that. We can't watch sporting events. We can't go to church. There's a lot of church organizations that have meetings of more than 49 people more than 4 times or 3 times in a 40-day period. A lot of churches have a big congregation. And they have well more than 49 people, and they meet every Sunday. They also have different meetings during the week. Well, they can't do that now. I wonder how that's going to work out. And the Scouts? Well, you can't have the Scouts. Well, you know they're haters. You know all about the Boy Scouts. You know how hateful they are. They're goddamn creeps. That organization, good God. We got to shut them down. So we got the playoffs coming on. Got the World Series. You can't bring your friends over. When is this going to end? This is what I'd like to know. When is this kind of stuff going to end? This has nothing to do with church groups and scouting organizations and big screen events with your sports friends. Even though they will have to be punished for this. They will be affected by this, but that's not what it's for. It's for people getting together and organizing, which is not only our right, but our duty, responsibility, and obligation to not only ourselves, our brothers and sisters, our country, but to humanity as a whole. Well, that's outlawed. Can't have that. They do not want people getting together and criticizing the king. They do not want a revolution. Well, it's not up to you whether you decide whether there's a revolution or not. Well, actually, I take that back. It is up to you. Keep going the direction that you're going, government, and you're going to get one. Who these people are, per se, I don't know. Americans. I don't know their names. I don't know who these people are. But they are Americans. And they're not going to put up with it anymore. And it's not just America. This is a worldwide problem. And it will ignite. Unless the left does an about-face immediately. Backs off, backs down, backs up, and shuts up.